Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. Fancy reliving the glory days without emptying your pockets, getting this season's kits without leaving yourself skint? Well, you can at okjersey.com, where retro kits and this season's fits from every major beast across Europe and the Premier League don't break the bank. That iconic Leeds 70s strip, Liverpool's 89 Hillsborough Heroes, Manchester United's 99 Treble Terror, and even Arsenal's invincible Shimmer. Juve black and white Zebra Classics, Real Madrid's Galactico Whites. What a player R9 was. Inter's Nazuri Nights under the San Siro lights. PSG's stylish 90s flair. OK Jersey have got them all. Direct from all the vaults. Authentic retro fire at prices that leave change for a pie at the match. No fancy markups, just pure kit passion. Free shipping for all orders over €50. And if you're part of the Just Joe family, you can drop the code JUST at checkout for 8% off. Because supporting the Mighty Whites for your continental crush, Tacticos, Barca, I'm looking at you. So gear up, don't break the bank, and go to okjersey.com, where history and current prices are affordable. Scan the QR code now, hit the link in the comments, and don't forget to use code JUST at checkout for 8% off. Peace out. Now let's get back to the boss show. Now then, people, good evening. Welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. We're here for an episode of The Final Word. Final Word seems like it hasn't been on for weeks and weeks and weeks. Got some new faces as well. Well, they've all been on it before, actually. We've got Dylan, of course, one of the finalists. And we do have Matt as well, who is a YouTube slut, basically. He's everywhere, right?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, he doesn't work on Australian time. He works on UK time, does Matt. Look, folks, there is loads to be positive about. I think Craig will be joining us from All Leeds TV a little bit later on as well. A lot of the other folks and likely lads were busy or weren't expecting it, of course, because it's well, it's the first one I've done in a while, so it's not as if it's, they're flunking out on me. Dale says the final word is back, baby. Order restored in the universe. Love from France. Bonsoir, Dale. Bonsoir. Look, I look across the timeline, Dylan. There is so much to be positive about. I've just seen a tweet, actually. 1st of December. Let me take you back. 1st of December. Daniel Farke's job was in crisis, they were saying. Senior figures at the football club believed he would be sacked. Since then, he's beaten Chelsea 3-1. He's drew with Liverpool. He's got a point at Brentford and just battered Palace last night 4-1. No losses in 4. Leeds United are staying up. The European bells are singing. You don't want to get too ahead of myself, but what a turnaround and what a time it's been, Dylan, these last 4 weeks or so.
Yeah, it's been great. To be honest, I definitely didn't see it coming. I don't think anyone saw it coming at all, even the most positive of Leeds fans, to be fair. And like you say, before, I think it was around the Chelsea game where people were saying there was all the rumours, if we lose this game, he's gone and all that lot. And, it's been a completely different team since this new system, really, where it's all started, the second half at City. And, there's some players in this side now which are like new signings. You look at Calvert-Lewin, Anton Stach, for me, he's like one of the most improved players since this new system's come in. Yeah. And, it's great to see. And, it's been a great December, and one which, when you looked at the run of games that we've had, probably the one point in the season where you think if we're going to stumble, it's going to be now. And we've looked stronger than we have all year. And I think now you're looking at it and you think if we can get some quality signings in January, back the manager like we all would have called for so far this season, then, will he look to be in a tidy position? And, after the game yesterday, I was sat there thinking, Calvert-Lewin, he's got 7 goals now, one in 2 or something like that he's averaging. And, second half this season could be a title charge. You never know. So stranger things have happened.
Yeah, mate. Listen, we're 7th in the form table over the last 5 games. The only blemish on that in them last 5 games, obviously, was that late winner by Phil Foden at the Etihad. But we more than deserve something from that game in that second half performance. And even if you go back to that, you had the Villa game, which I thought we more than competed in. Matt, I know you're a bit like, but I think Dylan as well is rather positive at the best of times. Has probably backed the manager more than most. You've also been in that sphere and backed certain players and personnel, and it feels good to have done so, because obviously now we look in a strong position. At the end of the day, we've got 6 points now, 6-point gap over West Ham. We are 5 wins, and I set the target. I believe the club set the target of 10 wins. Should hopefully see us up, see us stay up, and we're halfway there, Matt, and we've got a 9 goal difference swing, I think, to West Ham as well, which is massive. So yeah, you must be over the moon as well, Matt.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, the last couple of games after the City game, I mean, halftime against City, I was kind of starting to turn. Yeah. I still was like, I don't know who we're going to get in that's better. So I was still like, I don't know. And then it just turned like a 3-5-2, even like the game we just played, of course, against Palace, it looked like more of a, what was it, like a 3-4-3 at times. Yeah, Aaronson is like he's been given like this, it seems to be sometimes he's been given like this free roam role where he can go across the pitch, which, I think that's worked for him. But I think the way Farke's managed the team as well, the rotation that we can have in this team, like you can have a Tanaka on the bench, and that's fine. And like you look at like, I even tweeted out like you look at our team and people are like you're looking at the team and being like, oh, it's scary now. Wait till we get Metro and Longstaff back. That's 2 that are going to come back and hopefully
and then additions in January as well, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. You would hope. Yeah. I mean, we don't normally do well in Jan. Normally the signings don't do well. But yeah, you would hope so. We get a couple in, maybe another striker, centre back cover, because we do need that.
Yeah.
And I like the squad.
Same. You mentioned someone there yesterday, and I'm going to mention him because obviously I'm one of his biggest supporters. But I thought Brenden Aaronson yesterday, a lot of eyebrows were raised with his inclusion, Dylan. Over Tanaka. I think Brenden Aaronson is on record as saying his favourite position is an 8, and he played predominantly there yesterday. And what really impressed me, he won so many high turnovers, and then he'd be on, the edge of our box winning balls as well and starting off attacks. I thought it was almost, the square ball said it. I wasn't fortunate enough to be in the ground, of course, but they said it was a standing ovation he got, and arguably one of his best performances in the Leeds shirt, and more than paid Farke back for his inclusion in the lineup, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think he's had his criticism, and sometimes rightly so. But I do think this year, especially,
he's not a right winger.
He's not a right winger, and I do think a lot of the criticism this season has probably been slightly unjustified some of the time. Yeah. I don't think his performances have been as bad as some people maybe tend to make out this year. And I think, you look at the starting lineup like yesterday and, you get the classic, tend to get the people saying, oh, what's he bringing Aaronson in for and things like that. But, when you look at his games this year, he hasn't been as bad as some people tend to make out. And, yesterday more than proved himself in that team and showed that he has got the, I don't know about quality, but he brings something to this side. And, like you say, you mentioned him, he's in the turnovers and getting back onto the edge of our box and starting attacks. He's probably one of, if not the most energetic player in our team, hardworking. Yeah. There's a reason why he's been picked under Marsh and managers and now Farke as well, because you can rely on him to do the hard work, which, some players you can't always rely on them. And to me, that's something which is sort of invaluable in a starting 11 and in a team. Yeah. A player who's going to work and run more than anyone else. And I do think that quality is just as good as someone maybe who can have a good finish on the end of them if you can work hard and things like that. And like I say, this year,
where we are, Dylan, as well in the table. All right, we can't afford to carry passengers. We need every man to be on it because we're a team that's fighting relegation, and he gives you that, doesn't he?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And like when you compare it to someone like maybe Perot, who doesn't run as much, he offers you so much more as an overall team player.
Yeah, no, he does. You're right. You bang on. Any thoughts on Aaronson, Matt?
I like him. I think he's a good player. I think like he does get over criticized. I think every time he makes a bad pass, normally he gets like shouted at. But then when someone like a Nonto or like, an Okafur makes a bad pass, no one really goes off at them. Kind of like when he makes a mistake, it's always, oh, Aaronson. Yeah. But like his pressing as well is something that you need in midfield. And I think he's the only one besides Tanaka that offers that. So when Tanaka's not playing, you're going to play Aaronson because he offers that threat on the press and he presses the keeper back. And he's got a nice turn on him as well when he gets the ball. You know, there's sometimes where he turns into space and you're like, just go forward. And sometimes he hesitates at times, but that's like, he's been good this season, in my opinion. He's probably been top. He's been the top. I mean, if I had to put him in
half turn, I think on the half turn, I think he's exceptional in tight spaces on the half turn. He gets that ball and he turns his shoulder. I think he's brilliant. At that.
I mean,
It's what happens after that, isn't it? It's what happens after that that causes the issues. What happens after that? In terms of Dylan, you touched on it there. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, we brought him in on a 3, and some were very scathing towards the signing. I felt I was one of them more in the positive camp, but I still said, look, he's just like a spicy Bamford, etc. I don't think we were all, as a fan base, I think you'd struggle to find someone who was 100% dead on and said, yes, this is going to work. There were some that said maybe, if buts and maybes, but it's proved to be an absolute unreal signing at this stage of the season. He's remained relatively fit. He's got 7 goals in 15 games. He's the first player in over 20 years to get 5 on the spin, in company with Viduka, Rod Wallace, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. He's out there, he's a Yorkshire boy, which, I love that shit because obviously I'm an emotional fan. I'm proud of where I'm from, etc. So I love that he's from Yorkshire. And he's tweeting out, etc., saying, I love being here. And I think it's been reciprocated. And what form he's in, mate, And people could talk about tappings, etc. But as a striker, that is where you need to be on the end of things. And he's been exceptional, hasn't he, these last few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I said before the season when the transfer was, rumoured and it was looking like it was going to get done, I said, he hasn't maybe got the best goal, hasn't scored as many as, other strikers. But when you actually look at the chances he gets and he gets on the end of a few chances and he's always in the right spots to get the goals. And that for me is something which money can't really buy that. I think you need a striker who's going to be in those spots, and he's a massive confidence player, and you can see it now. Like, he's scoring for fun at the minute, and there might not be worldies and things like that, but I think it's just having him in that position to put them there and score those goals, like you say. The header against Brentford, I mean, that was just one of a classic number 9 finish, and it's what you want from your striker, in my opinion. And I think he's, for a free as well, I think he's proven himself, and he's been a good signing. Like you say, if he keeps this up, I think he'll more than prove himself in Alicia. He's got a lot of doubters himself, probably wants to prove wrong, and a lot of people maybe said that he probably might not get a Premier League club and you might have to go down to Championship. But I think he's more than proven himself and saying that he still can do it at this level, and he's more than good enough. And he'll be, I know, it might sound crazy, but he'll be looking at, the England squad. There's a World Cup coming up. Like, he'll be looking at that. And, you look at Kane, Watkins hasn't had the best season. Tony's doesn't like he's going to get picked. He's going to be looking at that and he's thinking, I can make a claim to get on the plane if I continue to score goals and put in a good shift. So, it's all got something to play for, and he's got a lot of doubts to prove wrong from the Everton side of things. I know a few Everton fans that laughed when we made that signing and said he wasn't good enough. And, he's been, since this new system, he's been incredible. And even before then, he was already good, but now he's adding the goals to his game. Yeah. It just all seems to be coming together. I just can't fault anyone, really.
Yeah, it's mad. It's great to see, Matt, isn't it? Because you are potentially looking. I mean, he's on the same amount of goals as Mateta, for example. He's up there with the best strikers in the league. It's great to see, and we need him and his goals to fire us to safety, because I can't lie, I was looking at it thinking, Metro won't score goals. I was wrong about that, by the way. Pirro, we won't get enough out of. Oh my God, the fact that we spent 15 million on our attack, being Okafur, of course, I was worried, but you know what? He's grabbed, the shirt by the scruff of the neck and said, you know what? I'm gonna fire us up the league. And what do you reckon we could see in terms of a return from him. He's got 7 goals currently, Matt. Like, what's a decent return? How many did Bamford get that time? Was it 15?
17.
17, was it?
Yeah.
Do you reckon we could see a repeat of that?
Oh, it'd be nice.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It'd be nice. I mean, I'll hold my hands up. I remember when we first signed him, I was a bowling at the time, and I remember going and looking at my phone. I was like, oh, I'll check my phone. And then I saw the signing, and I nearly dropped my phone, like, why have we done this? Because the main reason was the injuries, in my opinion. And then I'm like, oh, God. Because I think if DCL was the first free signing, people wouldn't be as mad. Because we signed Mecha in the window already, I think that's also what made it, we signed 2 frees. But like when we first signed him, I was like, oh no, it's going to be another. And, then Bamford left. And then I kind of went, oh God, if he gets injured, I don't trust Pirro in the Premier League. At least like I still would say if we had Mecha, DCL, Bamford, that'd be better than having Pirro, but just because of the way we play. But yeah, I'm happy with the way he's playing. I mean, in the air, he's one of the best strikers in the league. You could even go the world. Like in the air, he'll just win everything. I've always backed Mecha, and I'm happy that he's doing well. I think with the ball at his feet, he's very good. Yeah. And then you have DCL in the air, who's very good. And at the moment, I'm probably looking at it like DCL. I think he can get. 12 plus is a good season in my opinion for him. I know he's on 7 now, but 12 plus would be a good season. I mean, if he gets in the England squad.
Yeah, it'd be amazing, wouldn't it? I've been saying it like jokingly on shows and stuff, but it could fucking well happen, to be honest.
Man United right now probably wish they signed him instead of Sesko.
Yeah, true, Man United. Currently getting beat by Villa. Villa on a right run currently. Dylan, their manager, Glasner, he said, look, we couldn't match their physicality, conceding 4 set play goals, embarrassing. We had no chance from open play. He said it is, he gets about the 4th game, etc. But he did rest his first 11 for us. And do you know what? We did bully them. We absolutely bullied them from minute 1. And I guess there was a period of time when we're looking at the signings and we're going, don't understand why we bought all these physical players if we're not going to play that way. And I do think that was on the manager. He was trying to play out from the back. He was trying to play a distinct style that didn't suit the personnel. And now that he's reverted to it and we're seeing this 3-5-2, it looks great. I tell you what else I really enjoyed was Joe Rodon just being able to get, because he's really good with the ball at his feet. I remember in the Championship, he'd carry it into midfield. He'd take players on, etc. Yeah, and we're seeing him do that on the right-hand side, and him and Bogle dovetail. And it's the setup. I think tactically yesterday, Farke showed that he belonged, because Glasner is one of the best tacticians in this division, especially in game. And the manager bossed him. And a few weeks back, people are saying, quite a lot of Leeds fans were saying this manager's not good enough. He can only play one way. He's a Championship manager. He's just proving all the doubters wrong. And I genuinely feel that we're going to end the season with him as manager and us in the Premier League. And that's massive for Farke.
Yeah, definitely. When you look at Glasner, for example, I say he rested his whole team, which shows what he thought about us, by the way. He obviously didn't expect that, or maybe, there's a thing about them prioritising Europe this season, which may be something for them. But I think it just shows that I think teams will probably start to look at us and think, take us a bit more seriously, because we're not. I don't want to say, but we're not here to make up the numbers. Like, we are here to think, what we deserve to be in this position. And I think that it's something which going forward, we're going to we'll just keep it up. Because like Farke has been immense, I think, tactically, especially since this new system. I think he's making subs at the right times as well, which has been a big qualm for a lot of people.
And he's using his squad, isn't he? He's using all the squad now,
Yeah. I don't want to go back, but you look at the subs in the last few games of Nonto and Aaronson to change games.
I can't hear anything. Let me jump me out and I'll come back in.
Thanks for interrupting us.
It's been great. And like you say, I think I didn't expect that result going into the game. But when you look at the form that we're on, I guess we can take a game to anyone. And like you say, Elland Road, you've said it all season. We will give anyone a game at Elland Road.
Can you tell me a bad game at home?
No, I couldn't.
I don't think we have had a bad game at home.
No.
Genuinely don't think we have. I might be wrong, but Have we been? Who's beat us at home?
Spurs.
Spurs. Villa. But we were good in both games, right?
You could have argued in the Villa game that we maybe could have got or should have got a point at least.
Yeah.
In that game.
I mean, Spurs fans were saying we should
two
beat them.
deflections.
Yeah. I don't think we've had a bad game. I don't think we've had a bad game at home, honestly.
No.
Which is quality to quality. And like I said, in the league table, we are 10th for home form. We've only played 9 games, but we've won 4, drawn 3, lost 2. And then 2 losses are against Aston Villa, who are now 3rd in the league and have won I don't know how many games on the spin. And Spurs for a period of time when we played them had the best away record in the division. And we've just played Palace, who had the best away record in the division and absolutely battered them 4-1. So, for me, I get the away form needs to improve. And I think we're 19th as it stands for away form. And that has to change. And I think it will change under this new system that we have now. Because if you think about it, the new system was brought in against City. We've had 2 home games. Then we've got a point at Brentford, which is a good point. We'll now see how we get on at the stadium. I like playing this way. Craig, can you hear us? Can you give us a thumbs up? You can. Perfect.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I just put a different camera on, that's all. So it defaulted to that.
No worries, pal. Mate, do you want to just give us your overall thoughts on the game? We've touched on a few bits, but what's been your general synopsis?
I thought we were brilliant against Palace. From one game that I was worried about because Palace are one of them teams where they are that good on the day, and your teams like I was saying before, like your teams like Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, they don't need to raise the game for us. We need to raise the game for them. So, but Palace are one of them teams that they'll not back down. They'll not think, oh, these are a walkover. So I thought this was going to be the hardest game, and I was surprised how dominant we were, and from start to finish. Apart from maybe that last few minutes in injury time where, but I joked about Farke making the substitution, saying that he's doing it on purpose to show that the weakness that when you take those players out, it's a completely different team. But I thought we were brilliant.
Yeah, there weren't much wrong with it. I thought Matt Ampadu was captain fantastic yesterday. 7 million we paid for him. I thought, he gets a goal, he gets a couple of assists. The throw in is a great feather in the cap, feather in the ball, whatever the saying is. But it's Ampadu was immense yesterday. I think Dylan touched on it as well, Matt. But the whole midfield, Aaronson, Stach, Ampadu, it was exceptional yesterday.
Yeah, the finish as well from Ampadu. It's not an easy finish. He had to go into the corner, so not he gets it right. Like the keeper's right up on him, so he has to finish it. Good setup by Aaronson, who doesn't get the assist for some reason. Don't know how, but good goal. Took his goal well. Defensively, he's looked. I think he's looked good all season, but I think since we changed formation, he's looked better as well. I think he's looked a lot better. Yeah. He doesn't because in the other formation, we were talking about how when they would cut back, he would kind of get dragged out of position and get, there was a couple of goals where he would be at fault for, but it feels like now he's not. And defensively strong. When we're going forward, he's sometimes there. I think he can get a couple of goals this season. I think, but
because of the formation, we're able to see them higher up the pitch, aren't we? They're not doing as much defensive work as it were.
Because you got the centre backs. So you got the 3 centre backs, and then you got Goodmanson and Bogle, who can, if Ampadu is pushed up a bit, they can cover. Yeah,
can't do it in Premier League though, Ampadu, can he?
That's what I was told. That's what I was told. Oh, there's many. He's not good enough. The manager's shit. Listen, we'll get all them receipts come the end of the season when we're comfortably in the Premier League. Because I was saying, Craig, it was only the 1st of December. The Guardian were all running these hit pieces saying he's going to be sacked. Everyone expects him to be sacked. And then, we're now on 20 days later and we've not lost a game, having played Liverpool, Chelsea, Palace and Brentford away. So It's not bad. It's not bad at all, is it? No. It's been great to see. Is there anyone on the panel is there still question marks about some? I'm still not sure on Biol. I know I'm probably I've probably got an agenda there, maybe, but I'm not too sure. I don't know. But that's just me, though. Perry kicking's not the best, but hey ho, it is what it is. Has anyone got any stuff that they look at and think we could have improved on? Or, I mean, you can't improve on 4-1, really, can you, against Palace? I guess I'm just been looking.
I mean, I still get a bit worried with Goodmanson. I think he loses the ball.
Yeah.
He's sometimes at fault. Like when he has the ball, there's a couple of goals where he'll you look at the Liverpool game, he loses the ball. The Brentford game, he's lucky that they're offside because then there's a penalty. The Fulham own goal, there was another one somewhere, but he's at fault a couple where he just seems to switch off in crucial moments. Yeah, like at one moment, and then but overall he's a good player, but he just switches off at times.
Yeah, there was a good moment actually. I remember Eddie and Nketiah got wrong side of him, and he just took the ball off him. It was late I think it was in the second half, and I just thought, oh, that was exceptional. And I do know what you mean though with him. There's that fear, isn't there? Oh my God, is he going to have another moment? I guess one player we couldn't focus on, Craig, is Noah Okafur. I felt like he didn't do much yesterday. He has played as a second striker. It's obviously not his preferred position. He prefers to play out on the wing. What do we see the future for him? Is he just holding that place until Metch's fit, or we get another striker perhaps? What do you reckon?
I think when Metch's fit, that he will probably take his place unless... but I can't see him... I think Farke will have to change it around a little bit because I can't see him just taking a player like Okafur out of the team and on the subs bench. But yes, like against Palace, if you noticed, Okafur were playing out wide quite a bit.
Yeah.
And Bogle would push up, so you got like kind of a front three. And then it were amazing, weren't it, to see Rodon out on the right wing?
Yeah.
And who would know that he could cross a ball like that? But yeah, it's... See, I see Okafur in a different sense. I didn't think he was a player that stood out a lot yesterday against Palace, but he's a player that I think without him, you don't get the space. He creates space because if DCL wins that ball and it drops down and Okafur's through, defenders are backing off because he can run at them. And he's not going to get past him every single time. But the fact that he tries, it makes them think, what's he going to do? What's going to happen? I think with Metro, it's a bit more predictable. So it's a bit easier to defend against, depending on how Metro plays. So I do think he brings something to it. It's just maybe not what fans want to see, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Any thoughts on Okafur, Dylan?
I mean, I think he's a good player.
Yeah.
I think you can see that he has definitely played in this position before. I do prefer Metcha in that role, though, in a front two. But I get like the point of him. He drags players out, which, like I say, gives DCL more space and sort of makes DCL's job a little bit easier. So he's only really battling with one player then, really. And like you say, Okafur, pace-wise, can beat many players in this league. He's quite a fast player in terms of our team. So I do think that he's got a different skill set to Metcha, but it still helps us. And I think it's something else for the defenders to think about. But I do think that he's probably one of those positions where, like you say, Metcha for me would come into the team if he's fit. And I do think in terms of the presence up front, like in that Chelsea game, I think we looked really good in that game with them two together. And it's probably something which I would prefer going forward. But I don't think Okafur's been bad. However, I'd like to say I don't think he really did much yesterday.
No.
So it's one to think about.
Yeah, it is certainly one to think about, and obviously we'll hopefully see better performances from him in future. But like I say, I think to a man yesterday, everybody was bob on, and it's a fantastic performance against a Palace side that are in Europe that won the FA Cup, and before tonight's game or before last night's game, they were first for games won away. They were first for goals conceded, first for clean sheets away from home. They were the best team away from home on paper, and Leeds United have demolished them. And like Glasner said himself, we bullied them. And Daniel Farke, to be honest, he just impresses me more and more each week. Because there was a lot of fans and still is that are probably still waiting to sharpen the knife. But one thing's for certain, it's not going to stay like this until the end of the season. We will have another bad run. I just hope that the majority of the fan base in that time, Matt, can keep the faith and see that, you know, a team like Leeds, where we are, the squad that we are going to have peaks and troughs. And at the minute, we're having a peak. You know, we've got some tough games coming up. We've got Sunderland, we've got Manchester United and co. So, you know, it never gets easy in the Premier League, but we've got to keep faith with them, because one thing I will say for the manager, the squad of players have never given. You can't say that they've never give up. You know, there was talk of maybe he'd lost dressing room, etc., but that couldn't be further from the truth, Matt.
Yeah, these are going to happen. Like, we're in a relegation battle this season. Is what's going to happen. You're going to go on good runs and then bad runs.
Yeah.
But as long as we stay above West Ham, it's not really going to matter, really. As long as, like, they keep losing, you know, we're fine. So it depends how they perform, because they got a couple of, I think, winnable games coming up. I know they got Wolves in like 2 weeks, so that's like an easy 3 points. I think they got like Fulham next week. I think they got Fulham.
Yeah, West Ham.
Like yeah, but as long as West Ham keep losing, we'll be fine. As long as we just keep getting points at home, especially, I think the Fortress is going to really help us. I wish we could play every home game under the lights. I think, you know, because under Farke, I'm pretty sure we got like, I don't think we've lost under the lights with Farke as manager. I think I saw a stat like, I think 20 games, 19 wins, 1 draw, something like that. Which is, if that's, I think it's true. I'm pretty sure it must be. I think. Yeah. But yeah, that's mad if that's true. But yeah, if these are going to happen, we're gonna go on another bad run at some point.
Yeah,
like we're gonna go on a 3-game losing streak, something like that. But as long as we, you know, keep chipping away, getting some points, try and get draws away from home, win at home. What is it? 10 wins, 8 draws.
10 wins, I think. Yeah, I think 10 wins will do it, man. I think 10 wins will do it. Do you know what's funny as well? Like, we all said, and I think if this manager, Dylan, can keep us out of the drop zone by January based on the squad of players that he had, he's done an exceptional job, and he's going to do that. He's going to keep us out of the drop zone by January. So back him now. Then surely we can maybe look towards, you know, I don't know, 14th or something like that, which is what I predicted at the start of the season. So if we can give me that, I'll be fucking buzzing.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we're not in the relegation zone in January, I think he's done an exceptional job. Especially when you consider the run of games that we had and performances before this new system change, where, you know, it was like looking pretty bleak at times, results wise. I think if he can stay out of the drop zone, and I think we will, then I do think it looks very rosy going on to the second half of the season. And like you say, you mentioned West Ham, they're not, you know, they've got a good team, but, you know, they've got a lot going on behind the scenes, you know, with the fans protesting against the owners, and a bit similar to like Wolves and things like that. You know, they're not all singing from the same hymn sheet. So, you know, I think you kind of want them to have a bad January window, and the owners to sort of refuse to put the money in the pocket or put the hand in the pocket. And, you know, if we can then invest in our team, then I think, you know, Farke has shown that he can adapt and he can change, and we can make the changes necessary and bring in the players needed to push on this season. Because like I say, I think it's looking bright. Like I say, we are going to lose games. We're not going to go unbeaten for the rest of the season. We're gonna lose plenty of games, but I do think 10 wins will be enough when you look at the standard this season.
Yeah, and
I think we'll more than do 10 wins personally.
Yeah, which would be great. Which would be great. The Palace animal, he says, very well played yesterday. You easily deserved it, and we didn't show up. And just to put it into some context, folks, Crystal Palace had only conceded 15 goals all season, and we put 4 past them. Again, Craig, I keep mentioning it, how good they were away from home. And, you know, I get they've played a lot of football, but ultimately the team that played on Thursday made 11 changes. There was only one player that played that game, and that was Captain Mark Gahey. He saved his best team for Leeds United. So I could understand if that same 11 had played Thursday, then maybe, you know, you can look for excuses. But it was a fresh 11. And, you know, Football Joe put out a great line. They say, come to Elland Road at your peril, for it may not only be the best atmosphere in the Premier League, but one of the toughest places to go to. And we were talking about it before you came on, Craig. We've only lost twice at home, and that was against Aston Villa 2-1 and Spurs 2-1. All the rest, you know, we're unbeaten. That's massive for us, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge. And it is a tough place to go when Elland Road's rocking. I think like yourself, Joe, I listen to a lot of ex-players talk, and when you hear about them saying that Elland Road is a very tough place to play, you know, when the fans are on our side, it's a very tough place for opponents. But on the other hand, it's a very tough place for our players, and I think if the fans are against you, you've got to have that mentality to survive as a Leeds player. And that's why you see some Leeds players just drop off a cliff and they can't hack it, because when the fans are on your back, you'll get them fully behind you when you're doing well. But, you know, and they'll give you a lot of leeway. But once they start, that's you've got to have that mentality, you know, just to push through and drag it through. But yeah, our own form is essential for this season. But I feel that, I mean, we're now world champions and FA Cup winners, so it's I feel like it's going to be quite a. And Farke's got a better record in the second half of the season, every season that he does. So I think he's just finding out what his best team is, in my opinion. And I think at Elland Road, we are very tough to beat. I mean, like you said, against Aston Villa and Tottenham, very narrow defeats as well.
Yes, very, very. I thought we were great against Villa for the first half as well.
Yeah.
It was good. And Villa have just beat Man United as well, 2-1. 10 wins in a row, Villa, by the way. That's the kind of team.
That's it, innit? You can't say...
You can't compete, you know? Yeah. It is what it is. You can say, oh, well, we were beat by Villa, but they've literally won 10 games on the spin. So they're a fucking different animal, man. They're a different beast. So it is what it is. Hit the like button, please. It really helps. Thank you very much for that, June. The next home game we've got, then we talk about Elland Road, under the lights, etc. It is actually Manchester United. Oh my God, that'd be some result. I'd love, honestly, nothing more.
I don't think their players will be able to hack the atmosphere. I generally don't think.
Yeah.
If there's ever a time we've got a chance to get a result, it's now, innit?
Yeah.
I hope Longstaff's back, just crunch into him. Because Bruno might be injured now.
Who does Longstaff come in for, just out of interest? Would it be Aaronson?
God.
Would it be Aaronson, do you think?
It's probably Stach, because I think that's the competition, right? It's like Tanaka, Aaronson, Stach, Longstaff.
I think Stach stays. I think
Stach stays.
On the form that they're in.
On the form, Stach stays. On the form, Stach stays. Yeah,
the only position I could think of is it'd be possibly where, because Aaronson and Tanaka have swapped, you know, and that's the only position. I think Ampadu's got his place cemented. I think if Stach's fully fit, he's got his place more or less cemented. And I think that it's only the other midfielder. Yeah. Which,
how cool was it yesterday, by the way, when we didn't get the penalty and then Stach just bent it in anyway?
It just made my day.
It was so good. It was so good, man. I was like, we don't even need the penalty, man. Bang. He can hit him, can't he?
It's nice to have someone that can take free kicks, isn't it, Joe? That you've got a chance of scoring rather than... I mean, for the last few seasons, every time we've had a free kick, I've just gone, well, we're not going to score, so there's no point.
Exactly. Yeah, it's been great. Del Boy says, no way Longstaff replaces anybody. I think he would. Maybe he won't throw him straight in, but I think it'd be Aronson's spot. But
yeah, I don't think he comes straight back in. I think he'll get eased in.
Yeah, do you think he plays ahead of Tanaka?
I think Longstaff's one of his starters personally, but I might be wrong.
Isn't it great to have this, debate though? We have a bunch of midfielders and we can actually rotate.
Well, personally, my opinion is that it depends on the team that we play. If you want, it'll use Longstaff for the experience, Aaronson if he wants energy, or Tanaka if he wants the energy and something else. But I think Tanaka he can only do 2 or 3 games and then he's tired. and he needs a rest because he starts to dip when he's played too much.
How good's that, by the
He had some new boots on, didn't he, yesterday?
I don't know whether these Mizunos. I don't know.
Oh, that Tanaka, is that Tanaka?
Yeah.
What do you mean, is that Tanaka? I thought that were Aaronson.
Who do you think it is, you madhead? It's not fucking even Ampadu, is it?
I only figured it out when he showed me boots, and I could see Mizuno. I mean, that whoever's done that face, come on.
No, it looks like Tanaka. No.
Not from distance. You're holding it at first. I just saw the hair and I thought it's Aaronson, but then I looked at the boots and I saw Mizuno.
It's too tall for Aaronson. That.
I love that.
No, that's life. That's lifelike size, isn't it?
Brilliant. I love that he said he's that Tanaka. That's brilliant. There you go. Be gutted for Gruev if he drops out, being good when called on. Yeah, but that's good that we've got a squad. Boys, of the subs, do you think it's time up for, I mean, your boys just mentioned it there, Pirro. Do you think he's sold in January to help facilitate some incomings?
I thought we should have sold him before the season. I thought that's when we would get the most money for him.
I thought he deserves an opportunity, but he's not.
Yeah.
I mean, in the championship, when he scored, his performances were never great. And I kind of thought, he's not going to be good in the Prem. Like when he scored goals, you're like,
I think that's harsh, Matt. He was top scorer. I think that's harsh.
But his performances weren't great. The only performances that I think he was great at was the playoff semi-final against Norwich. And then when he scored the hat-trick against Stoke when we won 6-0.
Stoke, yeah, I remember the Stoke.
Like performance-wise, he wasn't great. I don't know
harsh.
what happened because that Norwich semi-final, he was pressing. And then that kind of just disappeared. It was actually pressing. I was like, oh my God, he came back because after Bamford got that injury. And I'm like, oh my God, he's actually learned how to press. And then he didn't.
I don't know. Do we all think he's sold, folks? Or maybe even loan with a view to buy or however they work it?
I'd say I think you're probably right in that he probably does maybe go out on loan. I think... Yeah. At the very most, he's gone at the end of the season. I don't think he'll be here after this year. I do disagree in the previous comment. I do think he deserved a chance in the Premier League, personally. Same. And I was quite eager to see how he got on. And, that Everton game, the first game of the season, I personally thought he played well in that game. And he didn't have a bad game that game. And, it was looking optimistic. And then, obviously, he started versus Arsenal. I don't think he should have started because it didn't suit him that game. Hung out to dry. But, it's easy to say. He's not good enough for the Premier League and he probably should go out on loan. But I do think that to have only Metcher and DCL and Okafur, maybe you would want him there just to sit on the bench. And he's another option and he's a different player.
Do you bring back Joffy?
No.
Off the bench.
If you're going to bring back Joffrey, you might as well play Harry Gray.
Exactly.
But I think that you could see it against Crystal Palace. When I said that I joked about him bringing these subs on just to show how weak we are when you've got the main players out. Pirro's the game completely changes up front when you've got Pirro up there. I think he could play maybe off DCL or Metcher, like you could play off a striker, but he'd have to be DCL. I think he's got a lot more experience than Metcher in this league, to help Pirro. But I think Pirro on his own, he's just technically he's not good enough for.
No, I don't. I think personally, I think he'll be because obviously someone needs to be sold in order to make sure if we bring anyone in. Someone has to be sold by June or July to make sure that it balances on the FFP books. If that's permanent now or loan with a view to permanent. I think there's loads of teams in the Championship that would take Pirro at the top end, to get them over the line. I hadn't had a look at the table. I don't know who's up there and battling, but I'm sure, I don't know, Coventry are, Borough, I don't know. Someone will take a punt on him.
Well, I looked at it this way, Joe. It's like, I take my biased head off and who I like, who I don't like, and things like that. But the assets that we've got that are Pirro, Nonto, in my opinion, that you can sell and replace with better quality.
Would you look to sell Nonto?
If an offer came in for me, I know not everybody's going to have the same opinion, but for me, if someone offered the right amount of money where we make a profit on it, because people might forget we bought him for next to nothing, so it costs nothing. So if you get close to say 10 million for him or 15 million, because I think he's probably worth that to someone, that I'd take it, because you can then spread that over however many seasons, and you could bring in another 10, 15 million pound, 20 million pound player.
Any thoughts, folks? I mean, I do think that Willie Nonto's overgassed by the fan base, although I do believe he played well when he came on yesterday. I think he's a good squad option.
He's a good player. I would understand if we got rid of him personally. I think, we fought so hard to keep him when he tried to leave in that first season, and I think rightly so, because you don't want to make him take us for mugs and things like that. But after that point, he sort of reclaimed himself a little bit, but he never really took the Championship by the scruff of the neck like we all thought he would. And since coming back, he's never really cemented a place in the team. Dan James has always been favoured ahead of him in Farke's eyes, and I don't think Farke will make him a starting option. And I think now, with us reverting to away from the wingers now, I do think it's going to be a lot harder for him to get in the team on a consistent basis. And he's going to be used as more of like a rotation option. And it's, will he be happy with that? I don't really think so. I think you could get, like you say, maybe 10, 15 million for him. And, you can bring in a player who will be a starter and can compete for a place in the team and will probably have a bigger effect on us as well. So I do think it would probably be, best for everyone maybe to make that change.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Bit gutted we don't have no Christmas fixtures. I think there's only one game now on Boxing Day, and that's the Man United Newcastle game. Everybody else is the 28th. How are we feeling ahead of Sunderland, folks? Could argue we owe them one really after last season, that late equaliser with Ilya Melier, if you remember when he flunked it. We were much better than them that day. They are a different animal now, though. They're a different side. Would you be happy with a point on the road at Stadium of Light, folks? I know I would personally, but just what's everyone else's thoughts?
Yeah, I'll take a point. I think they're a very good team. I know they have a players out because of AFCON, but I'll take a point. They're a very good team. Granit Xhaka's he's amazing, great player. I mean, people said he wasn't a good signing.
Yeah, wild. I know. I have many debates on that subject. Craig, what about you? Were you at Sunderland?
Yeah, football-wise, a point's good. A point away is always good, but I feel like this is a game that we have to win. Just for the fan base. If this turns sour and we don't get a point, if we lose that game, the tables just will turn so quick.
Do you know, if we beat them, I'm like going, right, we're fucking climbing up this table now.
I do believe that they're coming to they've got to have a dip at some point.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
And it's gonna come. And I think we've got a good chance now because they've got their AFCON players gone.
Yeah.
So if we can keep up this form, it's just depending on if we can keep this form and consistency up at the levels that we're playing. And but I feel we've got to win just for what happened last season, how far we finished in front of them. Yeah. And then there's the summer transfer window, and then people on the Farke bandwagon that they want him out. And now the tables have just slightly gave him a little bit If we lose to Sunderland, I feel like that'll just flip.
Oh God, I couldn't deal with that. I'll go back on another sabbatical if that happens. I tell you. Dylan, what are your thoughts, mate? Sunderland.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say I'm nervous, but the Sunderland Stadium atmosphere has been a big positive for them this year, and I think a point away at Sunderland will be a good point. Like, no point away from home is a bad point, but especially going to Sunderland, it's like most fans would take a point coming to Elland Road now. It's a similar type of situation.
100%.
So I do think it's something which a point would be a good result. However, like you say, I do think it'd be good to win. And if we do lose, you're then going into Liverpool with the fans. Maybe some fans tend to be a bit etchy going into that game.
Yeah.
And then if we don't get a result at Anfield, then you're going into the Man United game where emotions are naturally high already going into that game, and the pressure's then back on Farke again. So
of course it is,
if you win that Sunderland game or get a point at the very least, you're setting yourself up nicely for Liverpool and Scum at home.
Yeah, like Liverpool away, it is what it is. Totally different animal to playing them at home, innit? So
we did it last time.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. We all remember that. It's been great though. I tell you what, lads, it's been great to do the final word again. It's been great to have your thoughts on the game. I want to thank you all for coming on and giving up your Sunday evening. We have come to 7 o'clock, which is just on the hour. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Matt, do you want to tell folks where they can find you and what you're up to?
Matt Leeds on YouTube. I do previews, reviews, then I do a live stream the next day after the game, which is next day thoughts. I'll do like Premier League predictions. I'll just do Premier League predictions. Tomorrow, I think that's tomorrow. So basically I try and make enough content to at least daily, every second day. Try
You're very
active.
Yeah. You're very active in the space. You support a lot of the Leeds YouTubers as well, so it's very commendable. So make sure you go over and show some love to Matt, folks. If some of the moderators can put it in the chat. Craig, you're over doing the podcast at All Leeds TV, mate. Do you want to tell folks?
Yeah, ALTV podcast as a thing, because it's separate to the All Leeds TV main channel. And then Craig at ALTV on, if you go on TikTok and stuff like that. Where I do my own emotional reactions to it rather than just the calm down and football head on.
Yeah, I get it. I love it. And Dylan, yourself?
I'm just on Twitter or X, just Dylan Whitbread, just my name. And then see my reviews on Finalysis as well, if you get on that.
Get on that. Get on Finalysis. Have you had any Sky appearances? Any lately? You have been on, no?
I'm still waiting for my call up. Call up.
Right, okay. I was on like week, and then 1 week I couldn't make it, and I hadn't had the call up back. So they've, I think I've gone to back at queue. Great stuff. Listen, show some love. Make sure you go follow Dylan. Make sure you follow Matt and Craig on their respective socials as well. Thank you for tuning in.
Put wrong YouTube channel in.
It's at ALTV podcast. Yeah, not All Leeds TV, ALTV podcast. Make sure you put that on and check that out. They're two distinct entities from the same branch. I don't know. It's a different channel. So make sure you show some love, folks. What day are we on Sunday? When do we play again now? 28th? 7 days a week. Yeah, so we'll see what happens during the week, folks. Keep it locked if you can, and if I'm on, I'm on. But yeah, peace out. There we go. ALTV podcast. And we'll finish it on that lovely note. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Enjoy your Sunday and have a great week. Peace out.